I got a new trolling motor, and in this video I'm going to tell you why I went with the motor that I went with and bring you guys up to speed with everything that's going on with the boat. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome. What's up, everybody? Thank you for clicking on the video. Today I'm going to be revealing the trolling motor that I went with. I'm going to let you guys know which one I picked. I'm going to explain to you guys why I went with this specific trolling motor. I'm going to break down my thought process behind my selection, and I'm going to bring you guys up to speed with everything that's going on with the boat. Really quick before we get too far into the video, if this is your first time watching or if you have not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Speaking of that, we just hit 22,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for helping me reach that milestone. And since we surpassed another 1,000, you know what time it is. That's right, every 1,000 we get to color in another bar on the subscriber board. 22K. Thank you guys for the support, much appreciated. We're filling in that bar, let's go. But now let's go ahead and get into some trolling motor talk. So let's rewind a little bit, give you guys a little recap to everything that's been going on with the boat and the trolling motor up to this point. So if you haven't seen my original trolling motor merry-go-round broken down video, I'll let you guys know what's been going on. I was out fishing, and not long into my day, I ended up having some issues with the motor. It would barely pull the boat, it was making a funny noise, and it would only run properly or enough to even pull the boat pointed in certain directions. There were certain positions the motor would run almost like normal, pull the boat, plenty of power, no problem, and then when I would turn it into other positions, it would practically die on me. Very little power, making a, I don't know what kind of noise to say. It was making a noise. It would barely pull the boat. Felt like it was struggling to even turn the prop on the motor, and I had to pull that thing off and get it in for repair. Immediately pulled the Ultrex off, took it to the shop, but you guys know the state of the world right now. It takes longer to get things done. It takes longer to get parts in. I'd made plans to take some folks fishing, have some friends coming to town, some people you're gonna be really excited to see us fish with. And I already knew as soon as I dropped that motor off that it wasn't gonna be ready in time for the trip that I had planned. So I needed to make a decision. I had to bite the bullet, break bread, and buy a replacement. Now, in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys what replacement I went with. I'm gonna tell you guys my thought process behind the selection, and I'm gonna let you guys know why I decided to go the route that I went and not go with one of the other popular trolling motors that are on the market. I wanna thank you guys for all of the trolling motor knowledge and information that you dropped down in the comment section of that last trolling motor video where we started having the issues. You guys really gave me some good input, some good feedback, and I appreciate you all for taking the time to do that. Pretty much got the big three for the suggestions. You know, we got the Ultrex, we got the Garmin Force, and we have the Lowrance Ghost. Those were the three that I saw. So it was good to hear you guys take on it. Good to get that feedback and hear your suggestions. I do appreciate that. And it did help me, in a way, come to my decision. We had to think about all of the suggestions that we were given. We had to think about the big three. Which of those three primary trolling motors we were gonna go with, and I had to take a few things into consideration. So keep in mind, guys, there were certain factors at play here. I need to fish. I need to be back out on the water. I have people coming. I've never installed a trolling motor by myself. I needed to make sure that the installation went smooth and that everything worked properly and that I didn't hit any snags, because I was like running out of time. The time was short. I needed to get this done, get it rolling, get ready for the water in time for the homie to get to town. So that is what I did. So let's get into why I chose the motor that I chose. First up, I want to talk about the Garmin Force. I know a lot of people use that trolling motor. A lot of people really like that trolling motor. I have friends who run that trolling motor. I have used the Garmin Force trolling motor myself several times. I've used it enough to get a good little feel for it. It's got some nice features to it. Now, before I get into this next part, I just want to say that every trolling motor has issues. No matter the manufacturer, you're going to hear horror stories from certain people that say they've had issues or had failure or had problems out of no matter which one of these trolling motors you focus on, the Ultrex, the Force, or the Ghost. When you're manufacturing thousands of products at a mass level, you're gonna have failures, you're gonna have hiccups, you're gonna have bugs that need to be worked out. So let's just get that out of the way right there. All three of these companies make an amazing motor. They wouldn't be in the industry competing like they are if they didn't. So I'm not bashing anybody here. I'm not saying that any of these trolling motors are superior or subpar. I'm just letting you guys know why I went went with what I went with. So let's just keep that in mind. All of these trolling motors, you can find a story of somebody that had an issue. That's just a given. That's the way it is when you're manufacturing a product at a mass level. But when it comes to the Garmin Force, I know multiple people who have had trouble with their Force units, such as Bluetooth connectivity issues for the Bluetooth connected pedal. The pedal connects via Bluetooth instead of a hard wire to the motor, and there are some intermittent failures that come along with that, as well as I've seen people have trouble with the anchor or spot lock feature, whatever you want to call it, giving them some issues as well. Like I said, all motors have their issues, but my point in bringing this up is if I was going to go with a different motor, I had to have that anxiety and worry and sort of unsettled feeling about whether or not I was going to run into those same issues. And like I mentioned, I needed a working motor, one that I knew I could install and get running practically overnight. Another thing I want to address in regards to the Garmin Force is a lot of people say that it's quieter than the Ultrex, or it's super quiet and the Ultrex is loud. I'm gonna just say that I disagree with that. I have used the Force. It makes a different sound, but it's not totally silent, especially after a little wear and tear. The Garmin Force definitely makes a noise while the motor is running. It's almost like a wordle or a whistle. I don't know, it's weird, but there's a sound. I personally like to be able to hear the motor running just a little bit. Obviously you don't want to be loud, but I like just a smooth, subtle noise. Like when I would run my old Ultrex, I would hit the pedal and it wouldn't be super loud, but I could hear just a slight hum, and that would let me know that I was actually on power. Now, when a motor is super quiet and you can't even tell if it's running or not, I don't like that. So obviously you don't want to be making a ton of noise, but the noise that the Ultrex made, in my opinion, was just enough. It never scared the fish that I could tell, but it made just enough hum to let me know that it was actually running and under power. So the risk associated with some of the issues that I've seen out of the Force, coupled with an increase in price and the minor feature upgrades that come along with the Garmin Force, were not enough to sway me in that direction, and I decided to omit the Garmin Force from my list of potential replacements for the Ultrex. I know a lot of you guys were really hoping that I would get that unit, but for those reasons, the Garmin Force is out. Ultimately, I decided to go a different route. I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit more about that right now. Next up, we have the Lowrance Ghost, newest of the 3 options to hit the market. I've never used one. I hear they're awesome. People say good things, but I have literally no experience with that motor. I also run Humminbird graphs, not Lowrance, and we'll circle back around to that here in a second. Also associated with the Lowrance Ghost was a significant cost increase. Keep in mind, guys, this was an unexpected expense. I had to pay for this out of pocket, make this happen by dipping into the bank account. So I was definitely taking price into consideration, and when I was looking at the Lowrance Ghost, I noticed that it was a fair amount more expensive than the motor that I was currently running. It was more expensive than the Force as well. Also, when you have a brand new product to market, there are always bugs that need to be worked out, issues that come up along the way that the manufacturer realizes needs to be upgraded. For instance, the control board in the original release of the Ultrex needed an upgrade, and Minn Kota has since done that. But my point in bringing that up is I'm sure that there will be issues with the Ghost, just like there were issues with the Force, and just like there were issues with the Ultrex. Like we already went over, no matter what, when you're manufacturing so many of a single item that has so many complicated components involved, you're going to have failure, you're going to hear horror stories. That's just the way it is. But the increased cost, the lack of experience, the fact that I've never even seen a Lowrance Ghost in person, coupled with the potential issues that come along with bringing a new product to market, all of those factors played into the decision to not go with the Lowrance Ghost trolling motor. So that leaves the third option, the Minn Kota Ultrex. I was running 24 volt, 80 pound thrust, 45-inch shaft. Mounting locations for the Ultrex already drilled on my boat. The Ultrex has network capability integrated for the Humminbird graphs, currently running Humminbird graphs. Also, the price point on the Ultrex was the best of the 3 options. I also had to take into account availability. As mentioned, I needed my boat lake ready as soon as possible. Additionally, since we're now going to own 2 trolling motors, had I went with a Ghost or a Force unit, should the need arise to swap out motors in the future, I would be going back and forth in between 2 designs, 2 different models, trying to get adjusted between the 2 if I ever had to make the switch. So having a second Ultrex would eliminate all of that. Switching back and forth in between the old motor and the new motor would be seamless, and it would feel practically exactly the same, which in my head is a good thing. One more thing that factored into this decision was that I have used the Ultrex a lot, extensively. persuasively. I've put it through the paces. I've put it to the test. I've beat on it, put it through the freaking ringer. And yes, I have had some issues, all of which I've shared with you guys here on the channel, but Minn Kota has always been quick to respond, to address those issues, and to repair the motor under warranty. So my experience with Minn Kota and Minn Kota trolling motors has been a good one. They've taken care of me. They've stood by their warranty, stood by their product. And when you take a man-made object and you throw it into the water, you're just gonna have issues. That's the way it is. So having some failures here and there doesn't really concern me. What really concerns me is this company going to honor their warranty, stand by their product, and take care of me should that time come where we have a failure? So I don't even need to say it. After giving you guys that breakdown, you already know I went with the Ultrex. That's right, same motor, 24 volt, 80 pound thrust, 45 inch shaft. My boat is a 24 volt system. It's 19 foot, so 80 pounds of thrust pulls my boat around no issue, and I fish shallow. Beating the banks, 45 inch shaft is plenty long for me. I did not need a 52 inch shaft. In fact, with as much as I've beat the 45 into the rocks on the original Ultrex, I definitely didn't want a longer shaft on the motor. So 24 volt, 80 pound, 45 inch. That's the way, that's the deal. No change, consistency. You guys know my mentality. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I love that motor. It's a powerhouse. Any issue that has arose was immediately addressed by Minn Kota. They've stood by their product, warranted their product, repaired their product free of charge. I wanted to make sure that I didn't hit any snags during the install. I knew the steps to getting the old motor off and putting the new one on, and everything went pretty smooth. I was actually out in the driveway installing the new motor until well after dark. Put the strap on upside down, had to take that back off and put it on the right way, and I had to cut the stabilizer post twice, adjust the length a little bit, but other than that, the install went great. We're back up and running, good to go. Beetlejuice is water ready, and I cannot wait to bring you guys along on this adventure that we're about to go on. We've got some really exciting stuff coming your way. We're gonna be fishing with some of the biggest and baddest names in the industry, some of the most powerful and influential figures in the online fishing community. We're gonna be out there on the water. We're gonna throw down, chasing fish, having a blast, getting to know new people, making some new friends, and doing some collaborations over here on the channel. We're also headed to new water soon. We're gonna go fish some different lakes. There's gonna be some people on this channel that you never would have dreamed you would see over here. A lot of it you guys have been asking for. A lot of it you guys can probably guess. Some of it I bet you can't. Trust me, over these next couple months, you're gonna see some awesome stuff. And now we're gonna be foolproof when it comes to the trolling motor. Minn Kota is gonna take care of us and fix the old Ultrex, and we have the brand new one installed, ready to rip. Now, as far as the repair goes, I'll let you guys know what was going on with the old Ultrex. I heard back from the repair shop. They said that all the wear and tear and all the beating on that thing that we did somehow allowed water to seep inside the motor, and that is why it was running like it was running. So according to them, they're gonna replace the entire shaft and motor section of that Ultrex, and it will be practically brand new when we get it back. New shaft, new motor, new control board. That thing is gonna be good to go. We'll just keep it in the garage as a backup, and we will never be rendered boatless again for not having a trolling motor. I'm stoked. Some of you guys probably already know the deal. If you're not following me on Instagram at the Justin Royal, make sure you follow me over there, because you get behind the scenes glimpses of things that are coming up over here on the tube that you only get to see if you're following me on Instagram. Some big things are happening, and I'm constantly posting from out there on the water. Same day as I'm out there fishing, live and direct in full effect over there on the gram. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, give me a follow at the Justin Royal. So what do you guys think? Do you think I made a mistake? Do you think I should have got one of the other two big name trolling motors that are out there on the market? I'm interested in knowing your opinion. Let me know what you think. You think it's dumb that I went with the Ultrex? I don't. I feel good about the decision. I was able to get it installed by myself, no issue, and it's working great. We tested the boat, everything's good to go, and we are ready to rip out onto the water. I can't wait to bring you guys along for these adventures that we have coming up. It's gonna be some really awesome stuff. Some stuff you guys have been asking for, wanting to see for a very long time. Also, heads up, hats, stickers, shirts, hoodies, everything's coming back in stock soon over on the website, theheaterzone.com, so stay ready for that. I'm going to be giving away a Shimano reel this month, so make sure you get your order in, snag yourself a t-shirt or anything off the website. You will automatically be entered. Super stoked to bring you guys another giveaway. Thank you for all the support lately. I appreciate you all. Also, we got to give a big shout out to 6 Sense Fishing. If it wasn't for them, we definitely would not be able to do the things that we do, so please consider checking them out. And if you make a purchase, make sure you use my code JR10 at checkout. That's going to give you 10% off of your entire order. Everything on the website, JR10 for the win. You know the deal. If you guys are interested in seeing the content that I have coming up for you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I have some exciting people coming to Texas. We're going to go fishing. We're gonna take them out on Beetlejuice. It's gonna be some really epic adventures coming up. We're traveling, we're moving around, we're hitting some different water. We're gonna fish some new techniques, new baits. I got stuff off camera that I can't even show you yet that's on the way that, man, you guys are gonna be so excited about. Top secret stuff. It's here right now, and I cannot wait to get the green light to show it to you all. So make sure you stick around for all of that. But that's the deal. That's what's going on with the boat. We got a new Ultrex. The old Ultrex will be fixed soon. We're ready to rip. It's all good. And I thank you for hanging out with me today here in front of the tackle wall. I appreciate you all for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. It means the absolute world to me. But that's about all I got for you today. That about does it. That about wraps her on up. So I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and I'll see you on the next one.